In today's video, I'm going to be talking about bad money habits that are keeping you broke and 7 things that you need to change, whether you're in your 20s, 40s or 60s. So the number one thing that you need to do is track your finances. And there are plenty of tracking systems online that you can find. If you just Google it, you will be able to find plenty of platforms or templates and ways of being able to track your money. Or you can just do a simple spreadsheet. You know, you could do an Excel spreadsheet, you could do a Word spreadsheet, you can just do something really basic. You don't have to overcomplicate it and do anything that's elaborate and fancy. That would just slow you down. My suggestion to you would be just create a spreadsheet in Word or Excel and write down exactly what is going in and out of your account, so that you know exactly where your money is going. Because if you don't track where your money is going, then you're forever going to be having these pockets of money just disappearing, direct debits coming out of your account that you've forgotten about, subscriptions that you barely even use. And I'm guilty of that. I've had to look at what subscriptions I have signed up to and just cancel them. And even though some of them may be as small as, say, you know, £10 a month, £20 a month, they all add up. Like I have Netflix and I have a Netflix subscription and I never watch Netflix really. You know, I only watch it a couple of times a year. So it's things like that really, do you really need them? Are you really using them? Can you get rid of them? Because it's those small amounts of money, the £10 here, the £20 there, that will help you in the long run, because they all add up. You know, it makes such a big difference to your pocket. So first thing I would suggest to you is check your finances and look at your budget. Look at what is happening with your money. Track everything. You know, go back and look at old bank statements. Go back and look at your past month's bank statement to see exactly where is your money going. You know, what is happening to your money. And if you're not one of these people who checks your bank account regularly, then you need to become that person. You need to look at your account. You don't necessarily need to look at it every day or anything like that, but at least at minimum, I would say once a week, have a look and see what is happening with your account and track and register everything that is going in and out of your account. Number 2 is debt. Do you know exactly what debt you have racked up? And the reason why I ask the question is in do you know, because some people don't know. Just riding off the back of point number 1, where they just don't track what's happening with their account. You need to be very aware of the debt that you have. And that debt, you know, you need to be very clear as to how much is it costing you to have that debt. What is the interest on that debt? What are you actually being charged to service that debt? And we all know that debt is not a good thing. You know, in some cases it can be. So if you're using debt to leverage, let's say, property, buying a house, then that's a different scenario, because you're actually hopefully buying an asset that will make you money over time. But if you're using debt just to buy something in a sale or something, the latest car or this, that and the other, then you really got to think about, is that wise? Because the money that you are paying in interest on that debt makes it not a sensible option to do, because you're paying so much more money than what the actual product is worth at that present time and in future time as well. Because if you think about a car, you know, as soon as you've driven that car off of the forecourt, the value of it goes down straight away. As soon as you have taken that car, you are another owner of that car and the value goes down. So if you're taking out debt in order to buy that car, you've literally added extra interest on it, and literally straight away the value has gone down. So you have to be very smart and very sensible when it comes to debt. Things like credit cards, you know, again, there's nothing wrong with credit cards as long as you are paying off that debt as soon as that bill comes in. Or even if you have a small amount on it, that's not a problem either. But you have to be very wise to know that credit cards obviously serve the credit card company better than it serves you, unless you're smart and unless you get a card, something like there are cards out there where you get points and you get rewards and things like that, and they can really help you and they can be really useful to you, but as long as you are paying down that debt. So as long as you're not adding more debt to it. Think about, your usage of debt. We like to think of debt as being a really bad word, but in all honesty, it's not. It just comes down to the user. It just comes down to how sensible are you with that debt? What are you using that debt for? So if you have any kind of debt, really look at how much that debt is costing you, and really look at, can you get rid of that debt that is not really serving you, and think about debt in a smarter way, as in purchasing property and things like that. So point number 3, not having savings. So we just talked about having debt. You should never have debt and not have savings. We know now with the interest rates the way they are at the moment, that we know that a while back, even putting money into savings accounts did really nothing for your money. You'd be much better off putting your money into something else, because you were getting a very, very low rate of interest on it. The returns on it were just so poor. But the interest rates have gone up now. It makes it more of a viable option. You may as well be making some money off of the money that you'll put into your bank in your savings account. The banks are making way more money than you're making from your money, but it is important to have savings, and for every person it will be different. So some people will be comfortable having 3 months worth of savings, some people need 6 months, some people need 12 months. It really does depend on your own circumstance, your own situation, what you feel you need, what you're comfortable with. And you can also think about it as in having a short-term savings pot. So if you're saving for something in particular, like a holiday or a car or something, and then having a long-term savings pot for further on in the future, to make sure that you have enough money for later on in life, so that you can do all the things that you want to do. So next point is not investing in financial education. Now, I think that this is really key. There is so much happening in the world at the moment, and everything pretty much affects you at some point in life. Interest rates go up or down. If there's a war in Ukraine, whatever is happening in the world always tends to come back to, at some point, have some kind of effect on you. So the more that you can understand what's happening in the financial world and get some financial education, I feel it would benefit you majorly. Now, you don't have to have a deep knowledge of it and know the ins and outs of everything, but just maybe a broad overview would be super helpful. And there may be particular parts of the financial world that are more interesting to you, you're more drawn to. So if it's investing, maybe learning about investing in property or stocks and shares. If you want to know more about taxes, which is obviously very important, then go and find the people that can teach you about that. But having a bit more of a financial insight as to what is happening in the financial world, I think will really help you. I think it will give you a bit more clarity and a bit more maybe comfort as to know that this is what's happening, this is why it's affecting me, and maybe give you the insight that you need to be able to think, okay, well, this is what I need to do in order to not have a negative effect, a negative impact on my own finances later on down the line. So get the financial knowledge that you need, learn a little bit more about what is happening, and I think that will stand you in good stead in later life to really think about what's the best way to utilize your money. And the next point, just off the back of that, is not investing sooner. Now, as somebody who is in her 50s, I know there's a lot of us that are a little bit concerned about, do we have enough money for later on in life when we want to retire? And I just want to encourage you really to say that it is never too late. Whatever situation you find yourself in financially right now, it's never too late to change that. And sometimes when you get to, a later stage in life, the pressure's on a little bit more, you speed things up. You can catch up with where you hoped you would have been kind of like in your 20s and 30s, you can still do it, and you can still do it in a shorter amount of time later on in life. I don't want you to feel like it's too late and that you've missed the boat, and how are you going to get yourself in a better position financially. It is possible. It is more than possible. So I don't want you to worry about that. I just want you to just firstly change your mindset. If you are concerned, if you are worried, don't be. It is possible to catch up. And then think about the ways that you would like to think about how to improve your financial situation moving forward. So is it that you want a promotion in a job? Is it that you want a new job? Is it that you want to invest in property? Is it that you want to invest in stocks and shares? Is it that you want to downsize? Whatever it is for you, I just want you to have a think about, okay, how can I make these changes? Firstly, what are the changes that I need to make? And then how can I make these changes? And then just know that it's not too late. You still have time. You still have time. And then next up is expensive habits and expensive hobbies. Now, we all have things that we like to do, and maybe we overspend a little bit on certain things. So let's say, for instance, you love to travel, and you love to travel in and stay in, really nice hotels and apartments and things like that. And there's nothing wrong in that, and that's great. But if you find you're a little bit pinched for money and pinched for cash, then maybe you can think about maybe staying in a little bit more of a slightly more downgraded hotel or apartment. Obviously still good, but find the deals. So it's about finding the deals. Maybe you need to travel at a different time. So not traveling in peak season, or maybe you need to check out flights at a different time because they have different deals, and you can book certain flights at certain times and get the same flight for less. Or maybe you need to book earlier and make the saving there. Think about where you're spending your money, what you're spending your money on, and is there a way that you can save money? Like, I know a lot of people know that I'm a huge football fan, huge Arsenal fan, so I'm blessed enough to have a season ticket, and I'm so grateful, but they don't come cheap. They don't come cheap. It's a real sacrifice to be able to have it, but it's something that I enjoy. I love doing it. And I think that's the thing, because we can think so much about the fact of, oh, I'm saving for a rainy day, I'm saving for the future, I'm saving for, years to come, but you've got to live life. You've got to live life, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. You're here today, so enjoy your life. But don't enjoy it at the expense of overspending, not having the money to really be able to do what you want to do. Because if you have the money, fine, knock yourself out, go and do whatever you want to do. But if you find that you're struggling a little bit, then try and find a different way, or try and find the sacrifices that you need to make. So let's say for me to be able to have the season ticket, then I have to sacrifice not buying Netflix or coffee or chocolate, whatever it is. I have to cut back over here so that I can go and watch Arsenal. So it's finding that balance between what's most important to you, can you find the sacrifices, and is there a way that you can still do what it is that you love and enjoy, but just do it at a more affordable price. And then the final thing, just touching on spending, is the shopping in the sales. We are all guilty. We are all guilty of loving a bargain. When the sales start, we all think that, oh yeah, it's 50% off, it's 20% off, it's this, it's that, and we feel like we have to have it, especially if you're female, I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt and the shoes and the bag and the jumpers. So I'm with you on it. But we have to be sensible, because we all know that the money we spend on certain things is not what it costs to make them, nowhere near what it costs to make them. So them putting it in a sale is just them trying to get their money back, basically, on what they've paid for it. And we think we're getting a bargain and a deal, and maybe we are, and if you can afford it, then great. But if you can't and you don't need it, and the cost per wear does not equate, then don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it there. There was a rule that somebody said to me, take 24 hours or even 48, 72 hours, walk away for a little while. And if you still love it, still want it, can afford it, then it's your choice. But that impulsive shopping and that fast fashion just need to be very careful of. So if you are a sale shopper, just think about, do you really need it and is it really worth it? So that is it for today's video. I hope it has helped you. I hope it's helped you have a think about your finances, have a think about where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, how you can do better with your finances, and where you need to improve, because we all can do better. We really can. We can all do better with our money, really, either investing it or learning more about money or cutting down on things that we don't really need or don't really want or don't really use. So just have a think about, where is your money going and how can you do better? And leave me a comment down below. If you have any more tips, leave me a comment down below on what you're doing to improve your financial situation. I would love to hear it. I shall see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.